yards. It's about 7:10 right now. So now we're just walking. Hopefully we can hear one and get on them.
He was standing there broadside 40 yards, but he was all spooked up. I didn't want to shoot him. I wasn't going to take that shot, but...
Dude, I can see our tents. Right there's camp.
In the freaking willows. If he was where I was, it'd be dead. He's sitting there for 20 seconds, 10, 15 seconds, broadside looking at me. Catch a break.
We just crossed the creek. We came up through on the trail. There was an avalanche scar up here. I just was like, hey Chris, that's an avalanche scar. Just like showing him. Come 20 more yards and just hear something jump up in front of me. I'm like, oh dear. Because I just saw like whiter but smaller. Kind of looked like a young cow elk. It's what it ended up being. I don't know, 2x1. It wasn't a spiker.
It wasn't a spiker.
It was a 2x1. Just jumped out, and Chris had him like 45, but he was spooked and just not perfect. So we're gonna keep going up here and see what we can get into. Spike. Out to the right, I think there's more. He's just feeding off. Nursery.
Yeah. That's what we're looking for. Let's go, Spike.
Hey, that one was a 2x1. You gotta give him credit. We had a spike, but there was 2x1 and bow range.
It'd be pretty sick Euro mount.
2x1.
Yeah, dude.
The old Idaho 2x1.
The 22 2x1. Or the 21. The 2x1 and 22. These birds.
Dude, there's like 10 birds that sound like cow elk here. I have yet to hear a cow elk call here. They just don't. Or I just think it's a bird.
Yeah, dude. Like, imagine an elk that we pass on. Like, it's a bird. It's a quick one.
That was a quickie.
Yeah. Usually everything's way longer than that. Only quick shit when bulls are around. Gotta keep moving.
Alright, it's a little after 3:30 now. Couldn't find that bull we went after. We ended up just taking a nap at the top of the mountain up there. And then on the way down, I'm pretty sure Chris set an arrow to grouse and that arrow is still flying. Came down to the creek, get some water. I cooled off in the stream. Got the flow wet a little bit. And now what we're gonna do is go up here on the other side. There's a nice big flat up here. We're gonna see what's going on in there and for the evening. this last light, we got a bull going at, I don't know, too late I guess the time would be. Got him fired up on this ridge. He's not coming down here. If we had more time, we would pursue that and go right up in his face. But maybe tomorrow morning. We got a cold front coming tomorrow, and it's gonna be our last day to hunt, so we will see what happens. Well, it's September 29th. It's our last full day of hunting. Tomorrow's the last day of season, but the way everybody's schedule is working out, we gotta pull out tomorrow. And if we could hunt the morning, but if we got one, then it would just take way too long to get out of the woods, and then everybody would be out of time. So it's about 10:30 now. We got a little late start. Crazy thunderstorm last night, middle of the night. The way our camp is, it's kind of open on a hilltop, and we're kind of on this open ridge in the sage, and we did not want to be in our tents during that storm, so we all ran out and got over the hill and crawled under my tarp I have. So I think that kind of threw us off, and we're pretty exhausted, honestly. I'm on day 14 of hunting and definitely feeling it, but I'm feeling good. Just slowing down a little bit. Yeah, we probably didn't get up till 7. I mean, it was definitely some much needed rest, but I would have liked to be out here earlier, but what are you gonna do? But right now, we're hiking up to where we got into that bull last evening. Our goal is just to get elevation midday while we can, instead of being at the bottom and hearing a bugle and then trying to run after it and not even have enough time. So we want to get on their elevation to start out. Before we came up here, I was going to go down to the creek and get some water. Found a wallow down there, found a little mule deer shed next to it, and then while those guys were filling up water, I took a little walk, ended up finding a pretty nice deadhead bull. I didn't have my camera, I left it up on the trail, but I don't know, I think we're 4 miles in here. I'm going to pack that thing out, so that's going to be a little heavier weight on my back, but that's my first deadhead bull elk I've found, so I'd like to take it home. Hopefully we're packing 2 racks out of here, or even if we get a cow, we can just put those antlers on it. Shoot a nice calf and we'll put like those 280-inch antlers on it, so that'll, yeah, so it's just since I had to get the tarp out of my bag last night, I've been keeping the tarp in the bottom of my bag, but I pulled that tarp out, ended up finding 3 little Debbies in the bottom, and I was like, yes! So that was everybody's breakfast this morning, was a little Debbie sandwich, so got us fired up to go chase some elk, that's for sure. Oh yeah, learn to made up this mountain. We're gonna get some. It's a little after 5 o'clock. We got up to the top. We were just glassing for 5 minutes, and I thought I heard a bugle. I ripped a bugle. One answered me right here, so wind's pretty bad, but we're gonna see what we can do. we just got up to that ridge. We were glassing. Thought I heard a bugle. I bugled. And then one ripped one right beside us, just below us. I'm like, alright, try to get in position. The wind's so bad. It's going this way, it's going this way, it's going this way. And that bull ends up coming up the hill, which is perfect for us because the wind's mostly going down. Well, as I'm saying that, the wind's going hitting me in the face now, going up. It's just so bad. But the dominant wind has been going this way over the hill. And that bull started coming up so we could cover ground. And he never really got fired up. He was just doing easy bugles, just up, down, no chuckles at all, like he wasn't fired up. I imagine he probably just had some cows. He spent some time, they were bedded down there. There's a little flat below us. They were bedded, and he heard me bugle, and he's like, all right. He kind of did a few bugles down there, probably rounded them up. And then each bugle was boom, boom, and then gone. Just absolutely covered ground like that. And now our wind is kind of going up that way, and he completely just shut up. I don't know. I mean, you can hear in the video, I don't know if I'm a good elk caller at all. I've only been bugling for 2.5 weeks. So I have no clue if I mean, they're answering me, and I've called in 2 bulls, so it's like, am I good or am I not good? I don't know. I just think these bulls here Jason said this the other day, I wish I had it on video, but he had put it in a good way, that every herd we run into is like an okay bull with 6-7 cows, and that's every single one. We've seen one satellite bull, and I think it's that 4x4 that Double D missed. And so what you don't have one big dominant bull in an area with a bunch of satellite bulls. You just have, like, the satellite bulls have 6-7 cows each, and that's what it is. And they just don't want to fight another bull, I guess, and just have low testosterone or something, and they just go right away. No matter how much we try to dog them, they're just gone, and just go, go, go. I don't know. This is day 14 for me hunting. 13 of the days I've gotten to elk, so I can't complain. And we've shot at 2 bulls, so it's like, it is what it is, but just really, it's not frustrating. We're having a good time and learning a lot, but it's just like, still frustrating, the slightest. We'll gather our thoughts here with Christopher.
I thought when he crested over the hill there.
I thought we had him.
I thought we had him too.
Because the wind's mostly doing it.
Yeah.
He came up, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. I thought he was going to just crest over this and kick our ass.
That's what I was like, he's going to come up, and he just wants the high elevation to come get us. But dude, it's just every freaking time they just get up and gather their cows and go.
Yeah.
And like that bull never chuckled or anything. He was just like, where like we just couldn't get him in time to get him fired up, like we weren't in his bubble.
Yeah.
But it's snowing now.
Yeah. What the heck? I was actually happy though, because I was like, oh, it's going to rain. My backpack's over there. It's going to get all wet.
It's a little snow. What are we doing wrong? I don't get it.
I feel like in 10 years, we're going to look back at this and be like,
Oh, you guys were idiots. You guys were, dude, we were terrible elk hunters.
Yeah.
No, I think 10 years they're still gonna do this.
Yeah.
Dude, 13 of the 14 days I've hunted, I've been on elk, had bulls ripping, and it's just like, the only 2 that I've called in were alone.
Yeah.
And it's just like every herd I've seen has 1 okay bull and 6 cows.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It's like not even like,
there's no satellites.
I was going to say, it's not like a big herd with 1 dominant and then a bunch of satellites that we call in.
Yeah. It's just like little herds that don't want anything to do with another bull. And they don't answer cow calls. So it's like, how are we gonna know where they're at if we cow call? I don't know. I really hope people watch this and like comment and be like, yo, I would have did this differently, or like just try to say something. Like I said, I haven't been bugling long. I don't know if I'm doing it right, doing it wrong. They're answering me, but if you're watching this, let us know what the heck we're doing. We really don't know at all, honestly.
It definitely feels like when first starting to figure out turkeys, you get them to gobble. Like, that's the easy part. It's like getting them in.
Yeah.
Is what, like, the little nuances of it. And I think, like, we're at that stage, but with elk. But the thing with elk is that, like, you have to climb a bunch.
Yeah, if this was flat, we could have ran them down.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, it's just so steep and rugged. And like, you gotta, if he's gonna take his cows and go, you gotta be on him. That's what I've realized, and we just can't. Like, they'll cover 5 miles, and it's like, what? So it's like, this terrain is not making it easy because we cannot even catch up to them when they're taking their cows away. So that's what we got going on. But we got more time. Let's go back down here. Listen for more bugles.
Dan's elk name is Wapiti Butt. I can't even say Wapiti Buggles.
This is my bugle tube. Alright, is my tube too small? Or what is it? Should I get a bigger tube?
Jason had a giant tube.
Does size matter?
Jason's tube was... He ripped that thing out with authority.
Yeah. Shit was covered. It's a big tube. Jason's pack. Alright.
Alright, let's get my backpack. I was climbing up, and all I saw was a giant body, big humpback, and his head was behind one of those big pine trees. And that's why I told him this. And I was behind the pine tree that I wanted to get in front of. So I thought his head was covered by that pine tree, so I shot up around that pine tree. He took one step out, just pinned me.
You didn't shoot. You mean you just went around?
Yeah, I went around the pine tree. And he was through some brush, but he looked right down at me.
Dude, that was a big herd. There was elk clear over here too.
Was there?
Yeah. I could see them. It is the last day of the season, September 30th. We stayed at camp last night. We're like, we'll hunt around camp. We'll hunt our way out. if we hear a bugle around camp, we'll go. I thought it was a spike. I still think it was a spike because it was the most wimpy bugle ever down the bottom. We're like, yeah, we'll go after that spike. I'm like, I probably won't bugle at him because he's a spike. I'll just cow call so I don't like intimidate him. I don't know, I ripped a bugle and then he answered. I'm like, yeah, it's a spike. And we're getting closer and hear like a more deep bugle. And I thought he was on the other hill. We ended up cresting that ridge, going down the side, coming up this side, and that bull was fired up. We climbed up this hill. I could see some elk to our left, but it was just there was enough cover. I felt comfortable to keep going, and Chris stayed ahead of me the whole time. It was a good hunt, but I don't know, just got busted.
The issue is too, it's like running up these mountains. You know, usually in PA, like the rule is always keep your head up. In these mountains, you can't keep your head up because you're just gonna run into rocks and stuff. So, head was down, and I was trying to cut some distance, and he was right in front of me.
You see his antlers?
No, his head was behind. I think he was when he ran off. It didn't look like he had a giant. He didn't look like a hammer, but he is.
I bet it was a big one. I bet it was a good one.
Yeah, no, like definitely not a spike. I'd say 4x4 or something.
Hey, what is that? I've hunted 15 days now. In 14 days, I've gotten an elk. They got another thing coming when we know we're doing it. It might take 30 years, but we'll figure it out.
30 years, and for me at least 20 pounds dropped.
Hey, tip your cap to him. You got us, buddy. And now we gotta leave. Because if we keep hunting any later, then we get one, it's just gonna be a mad dash to get out, you know?
Yeah.
Which sucks, but just can't grab his antler and drag him out, you know? It's a process.
This isn't whitetail hunting behind camp.
Yeah, we're 3.5 miles in right now.
Over 2 mountains too.
Yeah, and you got it's up, down. Jason said it was pudding. He calls them pudding trails.
Why is that?
Putting us up and down. I think that's what he said. Alright, we're packing up to leave camp, leave the woods, leave Idaho. And I found this deadhead yesterday while we were getting water. He's almost a 7x6, but probably just a 6x6. And I'm gonna pack him out. Be sweet.
Look good at camp.
Yeah, it's 20 pounds, 25 pounds, so I'm gonna add a little bit of weight to it.